Hi guys, today a review of my Novrich SSG24. Hope you guys enjoy. Now you're probably wondering, why haven't you done this review before? You've had this gun for like a little over a year now. And that is true. But this was a little bit of a special gun because it is the most expensive gun I have, and I wanted to wait about a year to do this review to see if it was still working just as well a year later. And I can confirm that it still does. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Out of the box, this rifle comes with a hardshell gun case that would normally cost you about $60 to $80. The gun, all of it included Allen keys that you'll need to take it apart, adjust screws, all the stuff like that. A bottle of Novrich BBs, 0.46 gram BBs, which are not cheap BBs, they're very nice and good BBs to use with this gun. And a manual. The SSG24 currently retails for $450 on Novrich's website and 450 euros if you live in pretty much any country but the US. And before you say anything about how the SSG10 is cheaper, better, and the best gun of all time, for all intents and purposes, I don't care. This is a review about the Novrich SSG24, and I'm not going to be talking about the SSG10 from this point on. Now that we have dealt with that, let's talk about the price. The SSG24 is an upgraded M140 gun from, I cannot remember which retailer, but it doesn't really matter. It is basically a pre-upgraded sniper rifle out of the box. This way you don't have to do any of your own upgrading, which can cause the gun being destroyed if you don't know what you're doing, or you having to pay for expensive tech work. The gun has been upgraded with maple leaf parts and a precision 6.001 inner barrel, which is really evident when taking shots. This gun is extremely consistent and has great range. Now, if you know your way around a sniper rifle and you're comfortable upgrading one, I would not so much recommend getting the SSG24 because you're probably going to be paying a little bit more for what you could do for yourself with a VSR-10 or another M140 base gun. However, if you do not know anything about airsoft teching, or even if you don't know that much, I would so recommend the SSG24 because you don't want to accidentally mess up the internals of the gun you're trying to build on, and it's guaranteed good performance out of the box. I mean, how can you argue with that? So, how has it held up to the trials of time? Pretty good. I have not exchanged anything in this gun after I first got it internally, except for changing the FPS with some different springs, but that does not affect the performance. It is still shooting super straight and at super far ranges. I fired maybe 8,000 to 10,000 rounds through this gun, and it's still performing just the same as when I first got it. Also, when you do get the first gun, I guess what I just said isn't quite true. It does have a break-in period of about 500 rounds, so what's included in the bottle of BBs that comes with the gun. So in that break-in period, the gun is not going to be that accurate because that is the hop-up bucking breaking in. And for those first 500 shots, you cannot expect that good of accuracy. But after then, the gun will be dialed in, super accurate. Now, one of the sort of issues I had when I first got the rifle was it curving whenever I would shoot. And this was not an issue with the gun or anything, it was just an issue with me not really knowing what I was doing. So the reason why this was happening, it was consistently curving to the right, was because I didn't have my scope level. Now, keep in mind that BBs can curve because of the wind or other factors, but if your gun is consistently curving in one direction, left or right, it is probably because your scope is not correctly adjusted. So you can twist your scope a little bit to the right to counteract for the BB curving to the left, and then keep on doing it until you have the gun shooting perfectly straight. This way, a non-adjusted scope won't affect the accuracy of this amazing rifle. Now let's get on to some quick shooting and some highlight reels from me using this gun. Then after that, I'll give you my final thoughts about this rifle. I would totally recommend this gun for people who are looking for a pre-upgraded sniper rifle that has a solid build and good performance. However, I would so not recommend this for your first gun. It can be really frustrating if you don't have the rifle properly sighted in and set up, because your BBs will just go in every direction and there won't be any accuracy. So it is good to have some airsoft experience before getting into airsoft sniping in general, because you'll probably get really frustrated with the gun and not want to do it anymore. And that's not fair, because when starting airsoft, we all don't really know what we're doing. So I'd recommend starting airsoft with a beginner AEG. Then when you feel ready, maybe a year or so later, you can get into the world of airsoft sniping, and you'll probably have a lot more fun than if you got into it from the start. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to pick up the gun, there will be a link in the description under my sniper rifle. There you can also find all the other gear and cameras I use. Hope you guys enjoyed, and stay safe.